Yo, what's happening, y'all? This is B Jizzle of the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Welcome to the number one LA Clipper podcast out there. We want to first give you guys a shout out, LA Clipper fan, LA Clipper Nations, for being here. Share this podcast with your family and friends. They will not be disappointed, but let's get it popping.
Pull up in motorcades. I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate. Choppers to throw away. Hustle the overweight. That's why they follow me, huh? They think I know the way. Cause I took control of things. Ballin' the solo way. And if you pattern my trend, I make you my protege. Slossin' that soldier race. Niggas don't know them days. Take you in back of the buildings. Make you expose your rage. Take you across the tracks. Make you explode the face. Now you official now. But you got a soul to say. I just been cooking that new. I'm about to drop in the few. Think if I call it the great, the people gon' call it the truth. I ain't really trip on the credit. I just paid all of my dues. I just respected the game. Now my name all in the news. Tripping on all of my moves. Quote me on this, got a lot more to prove. Remember I came in this bitch, fresh out the county with nothing to lose.
Nothing. No. Wanna count on you. But I don't do this shit for nothing. No, not at all. You. But my money red, that you do. Oh, yeah. So I don't do this shit for nothing.
Rolling up some good, going up till we get faded. You know how we do it. Everybody take a flex on me. I got the keys to the city. I don't need no limousine. I turn up when I pull up and tell my booking agent book a show. Running around with the paper bag, running around with the paper bag. Going crazy spending all this cash. Going crazy spending all this cash. If I spend it, I'ma get it back. Even when I ride around dirty, a nigga don't need a seatbelt. A nigga don't need a seatbelt. Nah, it don't cost to keep it real. Run up, get done up. Shit can get real. Fuck around and get your ass rocked. Nigga, fuck around and take your shit. Got you asking God why. Drag your ass into an alley. Pull out aim for the target. Should've never been around the killers. In my town, we the fucking realest. No cheddar bars round here. I get the spray and they gon' get down. Ski mask over my face. Catch a body in broad day. Catch a body in broad day.
I got the key to the city. I got a hold of Shadiddy. Talk to that bitch in Swahili. Tattoo my name in graffiti. Whack out your hood in graffiti. Come through your hood on the weekly. None of y'all niggas can't see me. None of y'all niggas can't see me. Y'all ain't got nothing like this over there. Bunch of frontline millionaires. Bunch of self-made at the Trump bag. Guess the odds really took it there. Any problem, I'ma reappear. With a squad you already fear. All this time I've been playing fair. 7 digits every single year. Niggas die, niggas disappear. Alibis, I was really there. Life a crime till I get the chair. Columbine in my trigger hair. Still I rise and I took the stairs. Feel a fire, it's a different glare. All these fights, it was never fair. Busting knuckles, still I'm swinging fears. Taste the salt inside my dripping tears. You should know I never had a fear. You should know I never had a shot, never had a chance till I took it here. Man, it's proud, but I see it clear. Strategize, I'm an engineer. Pick a side, gotta keep it there. Switching up, nigga, looking weird. I got the key to the city. I got a hold of Shadiddy. Talk to that bitch in Swahili. Tattoo my name in graffiti. Whack out your hood in graffiti. Come through your hood on the weekly. None of y'all niggas can't see me. None of y'all niggas can't see me.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. I'm your host, Mr. BJ Matthews, aka B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. All of our YouTube videos. Hit that like button. Y'all come in here, hit the share, subscribe. Hit that Cash App. $ Slick Rick 1991 Son. $ Slick Rick 1991 Son. Y'all about to see on the screen right now, as well as our Venmo is at BJ/MATHEWS/1. If you guys love our Venmo, go ahead and sell up to our Venmo as well. And last but not least, if you guys do not have Cash App or Venmo, no problem. Go ahead and go to our super stickers and super comments that are available. Very simple. Right there in that chat box on the right-hand side, the bottom sign symbol with the $. Hit that label and you guys be able to donate to the Pull Up Basketball Podcast at your own discretion. But today we have a great guest for y'all, man. Very knowledgeable, very personable brother a guy that really studies the game of basketball at a high level, been at the highest level, NBA, college, high school, former player as well. Now he's into coaching and training that we're going to talk about as well as the interview is going. It's been a while since we had him on the show, but I want to give a man to my guy, Mr. Chad Bell. What's good, Mr. Bell? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show. Glad to be in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But let's get into a little icebreaker. I like to do a little icebreaker before we start our show. So I want to kind of let you take the floor, man, kind of explain to the audience about, where you from and, things about your background, getting to know Chad personally, aside from basketball. Let's get into you just knowing the person who Chad Bell actually is.
Well, my name is Chad Bell. I'm from Inglewood, California, where I grew up. I've been playing basketball, been involved with basketball a very long time. I played high school basketball at Westchester High School in Los Angeles, played on some really good teams, and I played collegiately at the University of New Mexico and also at the University of Nevada. I had the opportunity to play professionally in what used to be called the NBA D League, now it's the NBA G League. Played overseas, coached in college at a few different places, and have been fortunate to coach in the NBA, a couple different places, NBA, G League, and all that stuff. So I've been able to acquire that knowledge, and I'm a family man, wife and kids, whole nine. So that's pretty much me. It's very simple. That's just who I am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As y'all come in here, make sure you guys smash the like button. We have an interview with Mr. Chad Bell, coach, trainer, former basketball player as well, highest level. Let me ask you this question. You being from LA, is it true that LA has the best hoopers in the nation, in your personal opinion, from Baron Davis to Paul Pierce to Paul George to Kawhi Leonard to Russell Westbrook to James Harden? I mean, the list goes on and on. Do you personally believe Los Angeles has the best hoopers in the nation and probably the world?
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying that from a realistic standpoint. I'm not being biased here. I just think that if you look, especially today, of players that have had success in the league, there's many players in the league that have been successful and are having really good careers. You look at DeMar DeRozan, you look at
Mhm.
Russell Westbrook, you look at James Harden. You look at even, guys that's in surrounding areas, the Kawhi Leonards of the world, the Paul Georges of the world.
Mhm.
It goes on and on and on. And then you start diving into guys that have carved out niches in the NBA for themselves, like Spencer Dinwiddie,
Mhm.
guys like that. I mean, it goes on and on
Yes.
and on. The
Yeah.
talent is so in depth, from guys that have become stars in the league, guys that have become uh, fixtures as rotational guys. It goes on and on. It just LA is just a hotbed of talent,
Mhm.
and there's guys that never touch the league that are your favorite NBA player's favorite
Man,
player. Like a guy like
yo,
Frank Nitti, from the Drew League.
shout out to Frank,
It's
bro.
yeah. Shout out to Frank Nitti. It's crazy. How is it that he has not played in the NBA? As talented as he is. So LA's full of talent, and it makes it even harder to come out of LA. I say it all
Mhm.
the time. You can take a guy, I can guarantee you, and this is not no knock on any place, but
Right.
you could take a guy that's in the middle of the pack in high school basketball and place him in a state that's not as saturated with talent, and he might be state player of the year. It's not
Just
far
that.
fetched,
Right.
but that's just how how talented it is. And obviously, Los Angeles is a huge city and it's a popular place, so it's expected. So that's just how it is.
Right, right. Such a second biggest city in the country. You got so much talent out there. It's just like even if you really good, it may not be good enough. Actually, you got to really be great. Like take Frank Nitty's, you know what I'm saying? A bunch of players from LA who never even touched the NBA floor for whatever reason, they just didn't get the opportunity or just, they didn't fell into the right position, but they still would just go into any court in America and just, cause hell,
Yeah,
damage.
look at a guy like Casper Ware Jr., another one. you
Another
know,
one. I
how did
forgot
he
about
not
him.
play in the NBA? It's just it's names I can pull out.
Yeah, for sure.
It just goes to show you.
Man, but let me get into a little bit more of you, bro, before we get into like the actual basketball and the resume and stuff. But what does you like to do outside of basketball? Like, what are some of your hobbies and interests? I know you kind of want to discuss more about what you're doing now with the training. This is a good time to kind of explain um your passions outside of basketball and also with kids and things of that nature. I'm gonna let you take the floor.
Well, my passion outside of basketball is the people. It's the youth. I started a couple years ago, time out with Chad Bell, and I did that strictly for the youth, inspiring the youth, being able to talk to people in the sports industry and learn about their stories and how they came about into their industry and how did they arrive to their greatness. So I'm passionate about the youth in the inner city. I'm currently partnered with a nonprofit called the Swan Within that does sports programs and ballet mixed with athletics called Balletics, and we enter into the youth juvenile corrections facilities, and we're able to reach those that are incarcerated and not just do ballet and sports and fitness, but also have conversations where we connect with them. So I'm very passionate about that. I'm also passionate about sports and wellness. I'm an ambassador for Newcom. Newcom is a company that has state of the art, out of this world technology that focuses on sleep. One of the things that is super important with being an athlete or even not being an athlete, I think all of us in some ways are an athlete, but we all have duties to perform every day. We have jobs to do. So, one of the most important things is sleep. Sleep is connected to your health. Sleep is connected to your overall well-being. So I'm an ambassador for Newcom, and if you're looking to look more into it, you can go to newcom.com. You can also follow me on Instagram, and I will re-say this at the end of the show at Coach C Bell. And if you go into my links, you can click and learn about Newcom. And if you purchase, you can put in my code Coach Chad, and you will get 15% off their products. And what they do is they have the technology. You can put it on your phone. They have the technology to allow for you to get a better quality of sleep. So when you have a better quality of sleep, you're able to perform at a very, very high level, whether you work in an office, whether you work in a gym, whether you're an athlete. So when you have that quality of sleep, you're more aware, you're more alert, and you're more sharp. And those kind of things keep you young, So I'm very passionate about those things. And also, I have been able to take what I have mastered and learned over the last 14 years of coaching and building Chad Bell skills training, where I focus on the youth, giving them their foundation from basketball, from the stuff that I've learned coaching at the collegiate level and also coaching in the NBA. And I'm able to help lay that foundation. So I've started that as well. And my other Instagram for that skills training is CB Skills Training on Instagram, where I can be reached there as well.
So what we gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead as the show is going. I'm gonna make sure to tag all this in the show so people can visually see it. Cause all the people on the live, make sure y'all let us know that you're in the live and hit that like button. Also, we'll be taking questions pretty soon. We know Mr. Coach Chad Bell as well. If y'all have any questions, y'all want to come up to the panel, y'all please feel free to not to do so. But let's get into the basketball stint, Coach. So obviously training, we're gonna talk about that, but I think they want to kind of hear about your NBA stint as well, like of course with the Clippers and you went the Sacramento Kings. So kind of in each sequence, kind of explain, starting off with the Clippers, how did that transition come about? Like how did you get into that stint? How long did you spend time there? um let's kind of give like a little icebreaker on that.
Well, that's a great question. So, also another thing that I have I have a ton of things going. Um, I'm going to start digging deeper into that, and I'm going to start my Chad Bell's Coaching Career U, where I could share those tidbits of how you can get into that industry of coaching in college, coaching in the NBA, places that I've been for years. So for me, the Clipper opportunity came about. I always say this, and I cover this in my Coaching Career U, with your network. So I had people within my network connected to the Clipper organization, and once an opportunity came open, I was able to tap into my network and reach those contacts, I'm sorry, where I was able to come in and interview. And the beauty of sports sometimes, your interview may not always be just sitting at a desk and talking about your resume or talking about your experience or answering all these questions. A unique way that I pretty much interviewed for the Clippers was on a basketball court. It was before training camp and all that stuff was going on, but they still had some players rolling in, and I was able to get in there and help and show my knowledge on the court and the ability to do the job on the court. And for me personally, you put me on a basketball court, that's that's easy for me. That's it's no better place for me personally to interview. So, but you have to be, aware. I mean, prepared, with either way any organization that you're trying to work for is going to interview you. But uh, luckily for me, during that particular time, I was spent a lot of time on the floor, and after a little time there doing that, I was offered the opportunity to be with the Clippers, and I ended up being there for 7 seasons.
Right, right. And as y'all can see right there, that's Coach Chad Bell's Instagram. If you guys want to follow him, y'all can follow him right there. As y'all can see the picture right here with him and PG.
Well,
Um,
it's Coach C Bell. My
Coach
Instagram is Coach C Bell. Coach C
Co-
Bell. That's
Coach C
that's my
Bell.
podcast handle, but my handle is Coach C Bell.
Right, right. Let me go ahead and change that for you.
Mm.
Coach C Bell right there. That's Coach Chad Bell's Instagram. And the one I just previously posted is his podcast as well. He's actually running, which we can touch on that also as well. But as far as the Clipper experience, you said 7 seasons. So how about kind of giving a little bit some insight of like what it was like, on a day-to-day transaction, day-to-day, things, you had to do, like actually, of course, the interview on the court. You're going through drills, like what type of stuff, like in depth, would they kind of put you through to put you in that position, see if you were qualified for the job.
Well, working in coaching, period. One thing you can learn, especially those guys that have the opportunity to intern, in the NBA. Working in the NBA, coaching in the NBA is a whole nother level. And I don't mean that in terms of what people assume in their head. It's a whole nother level because you're hands on. One of the big things, coaching in the NBA is getting on the court and sweating, building up that sweat equity. So you're gonna get into some shape. You're gonna be in the drills. You're gonna be guarding guys and bumping, and you're gonna be rebounding and passing. You gotta, dig in and be involved. So that's what it was for me. And that's what, for me, I'm a former player, and that's what I love. And I look at it from a standpoint of you get the best of both worlds. You're working, you're coaching, and you kind of can keep yourself in a little bit of shape. So it's getting out there and rolling your sleeves up and getting out there and getting active with the players. So that's what it was. And I know I'm being general here, but that's what it was. And obviously, you're working on specific things, skill sets that translate to game success for players. But that's essentially what you're doing.
Okay, good nuggets on that. So, and that's another thing I want to also kind of touch on. Like, I feel like when you in the player, like you're a former player, just that much easier for you to relate, not to just the game, but also you can talk to players. You can actually, suit up with players. You can actually, like you said, bumping in practice. The pad drills. You bumping in the post. Guarding guys. Your size or bigger. Because for those who do not know, Chad is actually a pretty big dude. What are you, 6'8", 6'9", coach?
I'm 7 feet tall.
Nah, man, you 7 feet, bro. I was like, man, oh yeah, you was sitting down when we first met at the game. So yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. We make sense. But yeah, I love hearing that, man. What also before we transition to the course the Kings, obviously let's talk a little bit about Coach Jerry West, because you said that was kind of somebody that kind of inspired you as well. I think the first time we talked about it, you told us like the one thing that being around him was you just were looking for that one piece of information. So kind of explain what it was being around Jerry West, but also, anybody else, any of the players you got real close with. Talk about that before we transition.
Well, first of all, rest in peace to Jerry West, man. Man, it's I could say so much. I worked with Jerry. I think 6 of the 7 seasons I was there, and Jerry was just one of the guys, man. But he's obviously the logo. And he's been in that. He was in the game for so long. He had so much knowledge, man. So much knowledge, in terms of basketball, and just being in his presence and having conversation with him, you were going to get something that in that particular instance. And also, the great part about Jerry was he also not only gave you actual basketball knowledge, but he also would give you knowledge outside of the actual game, the business, things to look for. He would tell stories about situations. So, I mean, he was awesome for me. And he's actually was one of the reasons why I stayed with the team so long.
Mm,
People might not remember, but I started working for Doc Rivers, and Doc moved on to another organization, and then Coach Lou came in, and Jerry was a big. Jerry and Coach Lou were big advocates for me to stay on board. They encouraged the organization to keep me and said it was a good idea to keep me around. So
wow.
um, man, I can get kind of emotional just even talking about it. How much Jerry, cared for me, man, and I don't know what it was, man. When I first met him, I'm like, damn, this is a logo right here. Um, all right, hi,
Yeah,
Mr. West. That type of stuff, and
yeah.
he's like, Chad, don't ever call me Mr. West again. You call me Jerry.
Man,
And
he didn't
that's
like
what
to
kind
feel
of guy he
old.
was. So he, like I said, he was just one of the guys.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I didn't even know that you that he kind of kept you in the organization. I mean, you hear stories about him and just how he is personally. Like he just seems to touch everybody in the room. Like he has that presence. But that's awesome that he like vouched for you to stay with the organization. So
Mhm.
yeah, man, I love it. Let's and also again, if you guys have not already seen, this is Coach Chad Bell. former coach for the LA Clippers, Sacramento Kings, current trainer as well, and also former basketball player up until the G League that used to be the D League. So all these different, accomplishments. He has a resume. If you guys want to follow him, is at Coach C Bell on Instagram. If you guys want to follow him on his podcast, Time Out with Chad Bell, we're going to talk about that as well. But let's transition to the next stop. Obviously, coach with the Sacramento Kings. Kind of briefly talk about how that transition happened. When did you say, okay, well, 7 seasons with the Clippers, now it's time to transition to a new destination? So first off, what is it like living in the Bay Area or living in Sacramento, vice versa, LA, for the people who are outside of California?
Obviously, Los Angeles, faster pace, more populated. It's a true major metropolitan city vibe and that kind of city energy. You know what I'm saying? With younger people, older people, kind of movement and popularity and stuff, and the beaches and the downtown and the Hollywood and the Inglewood, and all that stuff. So, Sacramento, is more a slower pace. You know what I'm saying? It's more open, so it's more space. It's not as built up like a Los Angeles. So, you might be driving on the freeway or something, you can see an open field, you know what I'm saying, of, however many acres, and it's like it could be farmland, then it could be just land or grass or whatever, that type of thing. But different vibe, more of a family type of. I would say Sacramento's more of a town than a city. So they call it Sacktown. So it's a family vibe, family atmosphere. Very supportive of the Kings organization. Like they live and breathe, Sacramento Kings. So the support is there. So it was a change of pace, but welcoming as well. Just to get a different vibe.
Mm-mm. Yeah, because a lot of people think just being you live in California, like we all the same. We all
Nah.
it's night and day from what it
Yeah.
is in LA, from Oakland or Sacramento. It's a totally different vibe. So
Yeah.
Coach C put it best for y'all that we are not the same. We live in the same state, but we are not the same as far as
Yeah.
how culture is. But talk about last season a little more in depth, Coach, because you did say you accomplished a couple things in your experience. Talk about what it was like, coaching for them last year. What some of the accomplishments y'all had?
Well, it was great, man. I worked for Lindsey Harden, who's currently assistant coach with the Los Angeles Lakers. She was the head coach last year of the G League team with the Kings. Starting off the season, it was good. We were part of the training camp process with the Sacramento Kings and in there every day and practice and coaches meetings. Mike Brown was amazing, allowing us to be in, and we were very much a part of that organization as well. It was definitely a dual position for sure, being around those players. So it's incredible. And then as we start to kick off and branch away a little bit with the Stockton Kings, the G League team, it was an incredible year. We started off very slow, and it's a long season. We started off very slow, and once we got to Winter Showcase. I think we lost our first game, and then after that, we began to hit our stride. So we were able to bring in some players that were kind of game changers for us. Shout out to Mason Jones, who's still with them with the big club, changing our season. Shout out to Stanley Johnson. He joined our team and changed our season. And then Scal Labissiere, who's with the big club right now for training camp. He had a hell of a season. At one point, he was averaging 20 and 10. He was a G League All Star. We finished the season number one ranked in the league. Lindsey Harden got Coach of the Year, which means we were Staff of the Year. We went the furthest. We went the furthest the Kings G League team had ever gone, and we made it to the Western Conference Finals. We were probably 2 possessions away from making it to that final. So it was a great season, and we had a lot to hang our hats on.
Nice, nice. I love how you put that in perspective. It's a long season, and giving the G League players credit also is a big thing too. Before we get into obviously the training part of it, what can you tell? What do you think about the G League level as far as right now and like transition to the NBA? Like, do you feel like it's a real grind to get there? Do people overlook that, or is it something where okay, you right there in the organization, it's a little bit easier? Like, what's the G League grind like? You being a part of it, and you seeing and coaching it.
The G League is just that. It's a grind, man. Anybody that has a position in the G League as a coach should consider themselves very fortunate because how it's set up. The G League teams are connected to the NBA teams. They're owned by the NBA teams. So when you're working for them, like for me, I did 7 years with the Clippers. And I'm on the second row bench. And for me, some people might have looked at it as, why he gonna go work for the G League? And it's like, yeah, hell yeah, I am. Like it's the arguably the top three league in the world if you look at it. You know what I'm saying? So and it gave me an opportunity. People don't know about me. I started off my career in college. So I was an assistant coach in college before. So I did all the on the court stuff from scouting reports to having a voice in practice and being hands on. So going to the Clippers, I became a development coach, and I was fortunate to still do some of those things. But sometimes you can get labeled. So I needed to get back to being an assistant coach. That's who I am. I'm an assistant coach. To be honest, I'm a head coach in a lot of ways, but we can talk about that another day. But yeah, so it was perfect for me. It's what I needed, after 7 years, doing player development, getting back to being an assistant coach again, and I had a ball, man. It was a really dope season. I like to think that I contributed to our success, and it was amazing.
Great, great, great stuff, man. As y'all come in, make sure you guys smash that like button as well as also make sure y'all let us know y'all in the comment section and continuously, like I said, if you guys have not already seen Coach Chad Bell's handles right here, it's Coach C Bell on Instagram. If y'all want to go in and follow him right now, there's his label right there on the screen, Coach C Bell, personal Instagram. If y'all want to see his podcast, which we're gonna get to actually right now, Time Out with Chad Bell as well. So, Coach, let's get into what you're doing outside of the NBA. Let's get into your training first with the kids. So talk about your passion, training kids and things of that nature. What are you actually your mission right now? What is your goals and your preservation? What are you trying to accomplish with training the kids and kind of give the audience some, valuable gems about what they can do to actually support and actually, follow and lock in with you.
Well, my goal is I feel like here in the States, in the United States, I think it's very important to put our focus on the youth with the way the game is growing globally. I think that there has to be something created here for the youth that's beneficial for the youth to have that foundation laid. So I'm doing my part in laying a foundation for the youth and a structure for the youth that they can follow as they get older and continue to grow as basketball players so that there's not any drop off in terms of their development. I think that when basketball players get to certain stages in life, I'll give you an example. When a player becomes a middle schooler, I think it's certain things that should not have to be taught. That should have been given if that player has played in previous levels. That should have been taught in those levels. So there's certain things that should be focused on and pinpoint on once you get to the middle school level, and then once they get to high school, I think it's certain things you should enter into high school already having up here, already having the know-how, and then once they same thing once you leave the high school level, I think that your college coach should not be just now introducing certain things to you. It shouldn't be new. So I'm digging in with that youth development stage, and one of the influences to get me to do that was actually my son, Chad Bell Jr. I people don't know this. When I worked for the Clippers, he had played in the youth league for the first time, and I was the coach. I actually coached. I think their team was like 5 year olds, and just looking into that league, I saw the lack of enthusiasm for people to coach teams. And mind you, everybody's ran to AAU, which I think can be problematic. In terms of like, it hurts the youth, the recreation leagues. It used to didn't be like that, but that's a whole nother topic. But that encouraged me because when I was there coaching my son and his friends, I was able to kind of share with them on a more basic level, like structure, and stuff from my experience being a coach for so long. And I was able to take a bunch of kids who had never played organized basketball before, and we went to the championship game. And
Mm,
I was like, okay, we were literally um, seconds away from winning the championship. And
mhm.
I never forget how those kids bawled after the game, and they cried because they knew that they could have won, and they didn't realize it, but they lost to a team that had been already playing before.
Yeah.
And that team was selected and loaded up based on previous leagues. And
Mhm.
and our kids, they were just a bunch of kids that came to the tryout, and nobody really wanted. And we were able to, make it to the championship. But from there, I was like, wow, like these kids, these children, they need that foundation. So I hope to partner one day with the NBA, and we need to get these NBA academies going in the States and put it in a system so that they can grow, because over in Europe, they're pros at as teenagers. So we got to
Mhm.
kind of get it organized and get it together. Hopefully Adam Silver is watching this and he can give me a call and we can sit down and we can figure this out.
Facts, facts, big goals, big dreams, all that stuff, man. And we also, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and open the lines up for questions. But Coach, we got some people in the chat right now who's been asking questions. And I'm gonna drop this link for y'all if y'all want to come in here. Make sure y'all keep it respectful. If y'all have any questions, y'all can ask whatever. But Coach Chad is a person that is known in the NBA circle, so ain't no nonsense gonna be on here. So make sure y'all have a respectful question. But Coach, let's go into some of the questions in the chat. So the Kings, this is from Mark Law. He said the Kings are a strong team, but how can you make DeMar a better player to help propel this team? So you being with the Clippers, they are with the Kings, they just got DeMar DeRozan. How do you think he helps the Sacramento Kings going into this upcoming season?
Oh, majorly. I mean, DeMar DeRozan, his name speaks for itself and his career speaks for itself. And now at them adding him, they got a guy that is a consistent scorer that they can rely upon. I think that DeMar DeRozan to open games, you can get the team going by going and establishing yourself on the offensive end with DeRozan. And then also what he adds is another dynamic defensively, a guy that can guard, multiple positions, four positions. And then, a lot of teams are going small ball, especially in the games and playoff games. Now you're talking about a guy that's 1 through 5. And then one of the most underrated things that people don't think about also is what he does for that team mentally. When you're in the locker room with a guy like DeMar Rosen, you're going to listen. So he brings that leadership quality, and he has the respect of his peers, and he has the respect of the coaching staff. So it takes that team. I think that this offseason that the Kings got better. They upgraded by getting DeMar. I think is
Mhm.
exactly what they needed, and exactly what he needed as well. Going to Sacramento, up there. He's back in California, but he's up north. But he's
Hmm.
close. He's closer to home. I think it's a perfect fit. I think we can expect the Kings to make some noise this season.
Yeah, and also him being from LA, man. Talk about how a little bit how big DeMar DeRozan was out of high school at Compton and coming out of USC. Like, dude was really the man at that time, where he was really the highest thing talked about in LA. So just to talk about DeMar as an LA legend as well, kind of, I don't think people really understand how big he is as a LA native.
Oh yeah, I mean he's huge, and I don't know Demar personally, and I've met him, but like I've watched him a long time. So it's funny. I don't think I ever told the story not on nothing like a podcast or
Got it.
anything. But anyway, I played at the University of Nevada, so it's located in Reno. So Reno used to have these, and they still do. They used to have. It was a guy named Matt Williams. Rest in peace, Matt Williams. He's like one of those legendary figures in youth basketball. So he used to host these AAU events up in Reno, Nevada, where they'll be at a convention center, and you will have like 50 courts in there. This is a long time ago. This had to be like 2004, maybe 2005. I can't remember. But Master P brought a team through, and I'm like, I'm gonna check out these kids, man. And he had his son Romeo on the team, who as a youngster was very, very talented. And he had
Hmm.
this kid, Demar, who
Hmm.
just stood out. And I'm like, man, who is this dude? And I mean, he just balled, and I said to myself, man, he gonna be something one day. He's gonna be a player. And I graduated school, and he's at Compton High at this point, and I'm kind of following from a distance. And I remember when he was at Compton High, and he was the number one player in the country. And he was, I mean, doing terrific things, and I kept watching him as he went on to USC. Just how when you might not know somebody personally, but you just root for him. Like I'm rooting for that
Yeah.
guy. You just
Yep.
know his background. He comes from Compton, comes from a rough neighborhood. Comes from a tough upbringing, and just to see that rose rise from the concrete, you just kind of like, man,
It's
I'm
different.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
different.
it hits different, man. He's one of the people, man.
Yeah.
He's of the people, and you can't help but root for a guy like that. And
Yeah.
things have changed, especially the dynamics in the NBA. That's becoming more rare, where you got a guy from the inner city, tough neighborhoods, comes from pretty much nothing, probably public housing, project housing,
Hmm.
and they just rise above. We're starting to see less and less of those stories now.
Right.
So
Exactly.
he's like last of a dying breed, really.
Right. Guys are not playing outside on the concrete. They're playing inside the doors and got all this these training and all this, and
Yeah,
we
man,
ain't playing on the concrete no more.
yeah, and then we guys are you know coming, they it's a lot of, and I like it too. You got a guy guys whose fathers played in the league. Those kind of guys are coming in, which is dope to see. Like the second, like DNA really matters, right? So
Yeah.
like your genes, your genetics, like you know what I'm saying. But we're starting to see the DeMar DeRozan stories be like less and less. So that
Right.
makes them even more special.
Right. Right. Man, great stuff. Great stuff. If y'all want to come in here, make sure you guys continue to ask questions in the chat, or if y'all want to come on to the chat. I know some people are shy to come in. It's no reason to be shy. Coach C is a cool dude, man. So let's ask this second question. G Master Funk Flex said, he said, how good is Kawhi if healthy? This is a common question we get on this show. A lot of Kawhi fans on here. So you being around Kawhi and you getting a chance to work with him, what is the day to day? What is he? How does he take the game of basketball approach? Obviously, he's more reserved. I've been around Kawhi, last year, and people call him quiet, where I don't really think of it as him being quiet. I just think he chooses when to talk. But kind of give your insight about how it was being around Kawhi and also him as a basketball player, and answering the question, how good is he when he's healthy?
Well, being around him is, I mean, if you're able to be around him, it's a blessing. Just to see his work ethic. He approaches the game very seriously, and he puts in his work. So you can learn about that alone. Just hey, putting in work. Every day, being consistent. He just consistently puts in work, always trying to get better. Um, I know people do the whole "oh, he's quiet" type of thing. I mean, I really don't even think about that because, like, not everybody wants to go in front of a camera and just laugh and joke and tell their whole life. Some people just want to keep that to their private life, and that's okay. That's what people need to realize. That's what it comes down to. He don't know. He doesn't know the people out there. He don't know them. So why?
Mhm.
Not everybody's going to just open up. Some people are like that. And some people that may even mention it, they don't realize it that they like that themselves. So, so
Yeah.
just imagine having a camera on you every time you go to work. But anyway, um, how good is he with healthy? He's the best player in the league, best player in the world, MVP. Should I say any more? I mean,
Yeah.
like who in the league is that good offensively and that good defensively? You tell me who. I don't know anybody that's on both
Mhm.
ends of the floor.
They say Kevin Durant, they say Giannis, they say
I'm
Joel
talking about
Embiid,
both ends of the floor that
both
can
ends.
dominate both ends of the floor at the same level. Like, yeah.
You're not gonna find it. And it's like if you play basketball two ways and you the best player too, how you not the best player in the league?
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's very tiring to deal with in a workout. I couldn't imagine it again. I would run, not, I wouldn't run, but I would be like, I, I would get my sleep the night before I play Kawhi Leonard, put it like that.
Man, that's a great way you put it. I'm glad you said that, man. They so y'all heard it. Best player in the league, best player when healthy. Coach C said it. Being around him, training him, he's a nightmare. So I guess that's y'all answer. Let's ask another question. He said, what does he think about foreign players from Europe? Are there any good? This is a question I haven't received from any of the guests. So how you feel about the foreign players, Coach? See, you got Luca, you got Jokic, you got Embiid, you got Giannis. A lot of the foreign players are some of the top players in the league. SGA. Um, how do you feel about how these foreign players are coming in? Wembanyama. What's your thought
I'm
about the
all,
foreign game?
I'm all for it. If you can ball, you can ball. So bring it on. The league a long time ago became global. So we're gonna have the Euros over here. We're gonna have the Canadians. We're gonna have people from all over the world playing this league. It's the best league in the world. So we want the best players, no matter where they from, to be in the league. So and they're bringing fanfare. It only adds to the popularity of the league. You know what I'm saying? So, and now you look at last summer with the Olympics. People talked about USA. Oh, they barely won this game, barely won that game. And for me, it's like that sounds crazy. Do you know that they were playing against NBA players? Whereas years ago, when NBA players first started playing in the Olympics, there weren't that many guys that were NBA players. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? And I'm not knocking nothing. I'm not trying to create nothing. I know how people take stuff and they run with it, but all I'm saying is it even added to the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? Because now you got guys from other countries playing for their country. So I love it. It adds to the competition. It adds to the variety of players.
mm. Yeah, and that's kind of just like how you said. The NBA is now, it's not a American game; it's a global game, and the
Hmm.
guys overseas are learning the skills. Even you, I'm pretty much safe to say, man, I think they learn the skills. The younger people of those countries are you learn the skills even more so than us. Look at the AAU
See,
market. Look,
now you get what I was saying
you
earlier, right?
you know what I'm saying? Skills pay the bills. So it's like if you got skills and you can learn how to shoot, pass, dribble, footwork, IQ, all those things, you can at least give yourself a fighting chance against guys who are more athletic, who play faster but don't really quite understand the game because the game is meant to play one way. So
Exactly. So
that
that's why for those out there, those young people out there, if you got young people playing ball, check me out. I'm at CBell Skills Training on Instagram. That's why I am working with the youth right now, laying that foundation, that same type of foundation that's being laid over in other countries. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the youth is so important, and that's why right now I'm working with younger people and giving them that foundation.
let me ask you a question, coach. So what what is your style as far as a coach? Are you more of a fiery coach where the kids or even the players or whatever will know, okay, Coach C is going to get on us if we don't do this right? You're very structural. Are you a coach that allows players to, fit into their own mold and let them kind of figure it out while still putting them in the, position where, okay, if I need to tell them something, I'll tell them? Are you more laid back? Like, what is your style? How do you reach players? Do you reach players differently no matter who it is? Like, what is Coach C style going to, from young to NBA to college? What is your style as a coach?
I'm honest. I'm honest. I'm not somebody that's gonna be constantly yelling, yelling, yelling. I will only do that if it's necessary, and I don't do a lot of it, but I do it when it's necessary. I think that yelling at players all day long is unnecessary. That's not my style. Not knocking anybody who does it. Um, I'm more of a teacher in terms of let's figure this out. Here's what's important for basketball: fundamentals, dribble, pass, shoot, defend, footwork, touch. These are essentials. Um, Shooting, for that's going to help you become a good basketball player on any level. And those things have to consistently be worked on. So that's how I approach it. Um, I do get hyped up. I do get fiery, but I'm not rah rah all the time. So it depends on the situation. And then I also learn, and this is from being a father, that every player learns differently. So you gotta get personable with your players, spending time. You know what I'm saying? Especially like when I was in the league, I spent time with guys I worked with. We broke bread. You know what I'm saying? First thing on the court, it's not, all right, let's get here and ball handling. No,
Mhm,
it's like, hey, what's up, John Doe? What's up? What up, bro? How was dinner last night? What you do last night? Oh, I went to the movies. What
mm,
movie you saw? Oh man, I went to
mm,
go see the new Bad Boys, the
mhm,
latest Bad Boys release. Oh, what you think?
mm,
Oh man, it was dope, man. It was, man. See how I'm
right,
connecting. I'm making a personal thing.
right.
Now when we work, I believe that coaching is collaborative. Obviously you can collaborate more with the pro, because they pretty much know what they got to do. But you got to find ways to be collaborative with the younger mind as they begin to think things. Like for instance, I was working with one of my younger high school players, high school freshman. Um, he asked me one day, and it was great. Like he asked me, like, "What is this drill? Why are we doing this drill?" It was a shooting drill, and I said, he asked me, and he was kind of hesitant, but I can tell that's the type of learner he does. He needs to know the why he is. He needed to know the why. And I said, man, that's a great question. That's good that you asked that. I said, well, we're doing this shooting drill to work on your balance. We're doing this shooting drill to work on getting squared to the basket. And once I said that, that connected for him. And that's when
Make
things
them want to
started.
do it more.
Yeah, wanted to make him do it more. And then once he started to see it translate, when he played, he's like, "Oh man, that drill makes sense, coach. Like I'm more balanced when I'm shoot. I'm squared up, and like when I'm not squared up, I know why I'm missing. I'm starting to figure it out." So making those connections, man, constantly having conversations, that's going to help players grow. and be able to become better basketball players. So that's kind of how I come towards players, how I deal with players, how I coach with players. You know, when I'm training.
Awesome, awesome, man. So we're gonna go ahead and close it out here, man. So we're gonna let you kind of like give like your thoughts, and also like I said, I got the handles right here. So go and give all your information, where they can find you, where they can follow you, where they can connect with you, where they can tap in with you, whatever the case may be, man. Go on and give your information, and we're gonna get you up out of here.
Check me out on Instagram, Coach C Bell. I will be teaching my Coach of Career U. I will be dropping the information there soon. Also, click on my links on Newcom and put in the code for Coach Chad, and you get 15% off on Newcom products for sleeping methods. It's for sports and wellness. And also, you can check me out with my skills training at CBell Skills Training on Instagram as well. I'm there. I'm training boys and girls ages 8 to 18. Boys and girls ages 8 to 18. Come check out our training. We do have special training on Sundays. Sunday Fun Days coming out, doing our training. You can reach me there, DM me for rates and details. And also, yeah, that's it right there. And I look forward to being on the show again, again soon, and to talk about more about my coaching career. You.
Yes, sir. Before we get you up out of here, man, how do you feel
Oh,
about?
my fault. And also check
Yeah.
out Time Out with Chad Bell. Also on Instagram and on YouTube, Time Out with Chad Bell. Sorry about that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely gotta get the pot in there, man. But the season's
Yeah,
about to get ready to get going, man. And obviously, I know that you got stuff going. You're busy, so I want to thank you for being on the show, man. I want to thank you for definitely taking your time out. I know it's been a while since we have got you on, but hopefully we can make this more of a routine thing because you're always welcome here, bro. So definitely appreciate you, and definitely everybody for tuning in.
appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Let's go and end it here.
Peace.